Hello everybody, in this unboxing we're going to be looking at several packs of figures that don't even come in a box, so that's a bit of a cheat to start with. But what we're looking at here are new releases from First Corps, and it's the British Expeditionary Force for World War II. Now First Corps are really good at releasing whole ranges in one go, so they've released I would think up to 20 codes here. Now we've not got all the figures in the release, but we've certainly got enough to look at. So let's get into the bags and start looking at what we've got and the different codes. This is BEF 01. So this is the Rifleman in plain helmets with bayonets. So as I say, this is the BEF from World War II. These are the guys who went into France from September 1939. 5 divisions initially, and then they were joined later. By mid-October there was 1,600 British troops over in France, and that number doubled when they were joined by the Territorials later on in the war, or later on that year really. So these are the really early war British. Let's take a closer look at one of the figures. So here we've got a tin hat, of course, to start with, the Lee Enfield rifle, and we've got the gas mask box as well, which is worn on the front. We've got the field service dress of the short blouse jacket and the baggy woolen trousers. We've got water bottle here. We've got haversack on the back. We've got the rolled up gas cape there. Got the entrenching tool and the scabbard as well. So we've got everything going on there. These figures are really nice. We've got a really nice sculpting style. We've got you know, they just look like the BEF look. They've got a bit of a sort of ill-fitting look to the clothes, which is exactly what you'd expect. This first pack, BEF 01, has got the bayonet on the rifles. So if we get into the other packs, I think we'll see that they don't have the bayonet. But let's also take a closer look at all of these figures within this one pack. So we've got 8 figures in total, and these retail at £10. So as you can see, it's 8 different figures, not completely different. They're all fairly uniformed, and a lot of these will be conversions, but as you can see, 8 figures in total. So that's the first pack, the BEF 01. Then I'll put these away and we'll get into BEF 02. BEF 02 is Rifleman plain helmets again, but these are the figures without the bayonets. So they're the same figures actually, just exactly the same figures but without the bayonets. So the same makeup, the tin helmet, etc. And yeah, no bayonets on these figures this time. And again, 8 of them for £10. Next pack, BEF 03. BEF 03 is the same figures again, but this time with covered helmets. So on this occasion, we take a closer look at the helmets. We'll be able to see that rather than being the smooth tin, we've got a bit of camouflage on the helmets here. A few sort of leaves stuck to them as well, but they are actually the same figures as the previous ones, just with a different helmet. So that gives you a great option. So that was BEF 03, the Rifleman in covered helmets, and then we've got another version of BEF 02, which is BEF 04, and it's the Rifleman in covered helmets again, this time without the bayonets. So you get that great variety here, the helmets that are semi-camouflaged without bayoneted rifles. Moving on to BEF 5A, something a bit different. It's the Brengun team, the Brengun team advancing. There is actually a Brengun team standing and a Brengun team prone. This pack is the advancing team. So we've got the Brengunner himself, the standard British light machine gun for the BEF. And then we've got his pal, who's his assistant, who's got, I would imagine, yes, he's got extra cartridges on his bag there, so he's carrying the Brengun cartridges, which is very nice. Not just the same man again, it's something a bit different to make your Brengun team look a bit different. Then we don't have Brengunners standing, but we do have the Brengunners prone. So in this pack, BEF 05C, we've got the Brengunners prone. Yeah, not that pack, go away. We've got this one, BEF 05C, which is the Brengunners prone. Here we have the Bren gunner lying down and firing or taking aim. So another very nice sculpt there with a sort of bit of a base to it as well, metal base. Then we've got the stand as well, the Bren gun stand. We need to turn that down, nudge that down a bit. Bren gun stand for holding the gun. And we've got his pal who's handing over the cartridge. It's in mid-air, being passed across to the Bren gunner himself. Very nice, Bren gunner prone there. The next pack we're moving on to, again, is something a bit different, and it's the BEF 08A, which is the boys' anti-tank gun. So this was known as the elephant gun. This was the tool that the BEF were given to take out the German tanks. How effective it was, not great. But anyway, that's the BEF anti-tank gun, the boys. So that's very nice. We've got the gunner and we've got his assistant there as well, who's got a cartridge in hand. So that's very nice. That's the boys or elephant gun. And then what have we got next? We've got BEF 09. BEF 09 is the NCO. So here's all the non-commissioned officers to go with the BEF force. These have got covered helmets by the look of it, yeah. And some of these are multi-part. They've got a hand and rifle in their right hand, so they're carrying them. So you can get a bit of a more dynamic pose, but actually these poses for the single pieces are very dynamic themselves. Wow, that looks like it's going to rip the mould, but that doesn't worry us. That's a really nice looking pose there, with pointing with one hand and carrying the rifle with the other hand. So 4 different BEF NCOs there in that pack. 2 more to go. BEF 11 is the 3-inch mortar and crew. So in this pack, here we've got the mortar team. This retails at £6. The smaller packs are £6, the larger packs are £10. And the Bren gun team's actually just £3 for the 2 of those, the Bren gunners and the boys. So here's your mortar team. You've got the man holding the mortar shell itself, somebody loading his shell, and somebody pointing and directing, and someone giving an order there. 4 different crew. You've also got some ammunition pouches on the ground, and you've got the mortar itself, the tube and the stand, and some more cartridges down there. So that's something you're going to need for your BEF force, a mortar team, if you're fighting to try and stem the German tide coming through France. So, of course, the BEF ended up mostly fleeing France in Dunkirk in June 1940. But until that time, they did do a lot of fighting in northern France and Belgium. BEF 13 is the BTN command, the battalion command. So I'm expecting we're going to have more moustaches here. We've got the moustached commander there. He's got a flare gun in his hand. Looks like a sergeant with a Thompson submachine gun, which of course were quite rare at that point, but the sergeants would certainly have them, or some of them. Then we've got another officer who's looking through a book, and we've got another officer who's got binoculars, field glasses up to his eyes, looking what's ahead. Before we finish, let's have a closer look at the size of some of these figures. So, having a closer look at the size of the figures, this is one of the from the pack BEF 02. The Rifleman, put a ruler next to him, and we can see he's about from toe to top of head about 27 millimeters tall. So you can certainly get larger figures than this, but he's a pretty good size. Then let's have a look comparing him with one of the figures from the Crusader British Rifleman pack. Very similar looking figures, I hope. Once we pull one out, let's have a look at that guy, the size of him. Just bring it into focus for you. And yeah, as we can see, if you compare it with the Crusader figures, very similar looking figures actually. So you'll certainly be able to cross-pollinate with your Crusader World War I BEF if you've got those. So there you go, 15 codes in total from First Corps' first release of the British Expeditionary Force for World War II. All well designed and lovingly cast, as you can see, and fitting in very nicely with existing BEF Rangers and First Corps' own range of vehicles for this period. This video has been brought to you by WI Prime, Wargames Illustrated Magazine's online members club. View more videos or find out more about WI Prime by following these links.